Welcome to the 757 Preps Bay Rivers District Football Pick Show. I'm Perez Thomas. This is Jason Kidd, as always. We're here to give you a little recap of last week's Region 1 Championship action and go ahead and look forward to the state semis that we'll actually get a first-hand look at here at Bailey Field.
Yeah. Grafton, was able to pull one out against Cortland. And, they'll be playing in the state semis, whereas York will not be making the state playoffs this year.
Unfortunately, and that leads right into the Region 1, Division 3 championship between York and James Monroe, and all I can say is James Monroe might be the most talented AA football team I've ever seen play, and that includes, and I don't mean any disrespect or anything, but last year's Pocosin team was phenomenal, but this James Monroe team was impressive.
They were firing on all cylinders, I tell you that.
Yes,
with whoever touched the ball for them did big things. Ethan Preston, he started off slow, and York was, they hurt themselves on a 4th and 4. They get called for encroachment on a punting situation, and then James Monroe took off after that.
Yeah, there was no stopping them. After that, they drove right down the field, came back down, and I think, York went 3 and out, or maybe got a pick or something.
They turned the ball over. Alex Johnson was picked off 4 times in the first half, and, James Monroe jumped out to
38-0
at halftime.
Yeah, it was they're the real deal. That's all I can say, and I would be surprised if anyone takes them out.
Yeah,
I see state championship in their future. It's a shame that they're in Region 1 because I think if York would have matched up with anyone else, I think they would have been fine. But James Monroe was just too much. They forced 6 total turnovers. 3 of those turnovers went for touchdowns. Their special teams was phenomenal. They forced the Region 1 Player of the Year, Alex Johnson, to throw 5 INTs. I think he had that for the season coming in.
Definitely. And, they scored 3 defensive touchdowns in the game.
And then they added in a special teams, a punt return, I believe. So they were a very impressive team, and that's not to take anything away from York, because York had a special season. They just ran into a freight train in James Monroe.
Yeah, but I give York a lot of credit. They played hard throughout the whole game.
Never gave up. Never gave up.
They stayed together, and that's special. When a team can stay together during a tough time like that.
Definitely.
And you got to give York all the credit. They had a wonderful season.
That they did. And now we can move into the other Region 1 championship in the Division 4, which was between Grafton and Cortland. And Grafton jumped out, and you thought, hey, Grafton might spank these boys pretty good, and Cortland showed they had some fight in them.
Yeah, they did. Dylan Bartels, he had a high ankle sprain early second quarter, and Grafton had to switch gears and give it to Marcus Spearman.
Yeah, and I've been saying it all year. I don't want to sound like the prognosticator, but you got to get Spearman more involved, and sure enough, the boy goes nuts and brings, 4 TDs?
Yeah, he ripped off 4 touchdowns, had over 100 yards rushing. He had some big touchdowns, a 59-yard touchdown, after a Cortland kickoff return. The momentum was shifting back and forth, but, behind Spearman's legs, Grafton was able to take this game and advance to the state semis.
And not only that, but Jet Johnson played some good football Saturday. His best game since becoming the quarterback. He put up about 150 yards passing, and he looked pretty solid back there.
Definitely did. Threw a touchdown as well.
Yeah, but and then Grafton came home with the W, 38-24. Defense did struggle a bit at the end. Let Cortland kind of sneak back in, but the offense, kept them going, and they came home with a W, and that's all that matters at this time of year.
Exactly. All year long, Grafton's defense has been, winning them games, and then this game came around, the offense won the game.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing when you have that balance.
Definitely. And that'll go ahead and lead us right into the state semifinal game, which will be Saturday, 4 p.m. at Bailey Field between the #1 team in in Double A for the state of Virginia, the defending state champ, Briar Woods, coming in at 12-1, and they'll be playing against the host Grafton Clippers. And all I can say about Briar Woods is there's a reason they're defending state champs.
Well, they never lost a playoff game. They're 8-0 in the playoffs in their 6-year history, entering this game against Grafton.
Impressive. Yeah, very impressive.
That's a perfect postseason record, and that's what you play for.
And, I mean, not to mention, their only loss this year was to a AAA team in Broad Run that almost made it to states themselves. I believe they got knocked out by Brook Point in either the region quarters or region semis for AAA. So, you go in, you play a tough AAA team, and that's your only L for the year. And that shows you can hang with the big boys, and there's a reason they're the top dog in Double A. And Grafton's definitely going to have their hands full this week.
Absolutely. Grafton, they have to get some pressure on Briarwood quarterback Trace McSorley. If McSorley has time to pass, he's going to eat him up with Alex Carter. The Stanford commit, he's a tough person to defend. He's a big guy. And he gets open and he makes tough catches as well.
Yeah, McSorley went over 2,000 total yards this year, and they're going to have to contain him because he likes to move around a little bit in the pocket. If they can kind of keep him in the pocket and not moving around and, kind of breaking those random schoolyard football plays, I think, they can do some things. But Briar Woods also has another tough player with the running back Corey Colder, went over 1,000 rushing yards and 21 touchdowns on the year.
Yeah, he definitely moves the chain, man. He's a tough guy to stop.
Yeah, so Grafton's D, they're going to have to step up this week as they have all year. And I think the offense is going to need Jet Johnson to have another good week as well.
Yeah, well, Grafton's offense has kind of struggled against the spread this year. Their Grafton defense has struggled a little bit against the spread this year, and losses to Lafayette, York, and Pocosin. They all have spread offenses, and they do different things out of those offenses. And Grafton had a tough time, and I see it. I think they're going to have a tough time this week against Briar Woods. I think Briar Woods makes a trip down here. They travel really well as a school. I mean, you see the videos of them and the crowd is packed and they're going nuts. I like Briar Woods in this one, 31-20.
Yeah, a couple things I think, for Grafton to pull off what would be definitely considered an upset, considering this is the defending state champ. I think they're going to have to, they got to contain that quarterback, like I said, McSorley. Can't allow him to move around. They're going to have to establish the running game to keep that offense off the field. And who knows what's going on with Bartels, if he's going to be able to go this week or not. And they're going to be missing a key player in Jesse Santiago possibly.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what Van Acker's got in store in regards to the offense and defensive side of the ball with Santiago. And he's also big in their special teams as well.
Right. And another thing, SATs are Saturday morning. Are any of these players taking the SATs?
That I'm not sure about, but I'm sure Coach Van Acker, granted education comes first, I'm sure he may want them to reschedule if so. Yeah, that could definitely be a contributing factor as well. I think the defense has to play well. And when I say well, I don't mean 1-2 quarters. They got to play all 4 quarters. Like last week, they started first half. Defense was phenomenal. Second half kind of broke down. Let Cortland back in it. But the offense saved them. Can't have that this week against the defending state champs. And last but not least, they're going to need Jet Johnson to have another phenomenal week like he did last week. That way they're not one-dimensional.
Yeah, definitely.
And, Spearman... All I can say is Van Acker, keep feeding Spearman the ball. He's great. Even if he got Bartels, he's a game changer. Game changer.
One reason, Spearman might not get that many touches is because, he's such a great defensive player.
Oh,
you don't want to have to take risks, for one, getting him hurt, or two, taking him off the defensive side so he can rest for offense, So.
Well, this time of the year, you got to do what you got to do to get by.
Yeah, just add a little perspective. That's it.
I agree 100%. But this time of the year, you pull off all, you take the brakes off and you floor it, and you got to do what you got to do to win.
Definitely do. It's only 2 weeks left of football.
So I've got Briarwood sneaking past Grafton on this one, 27-21. I think Briarwood's just had a little too much. They've been here. They've done it. They don't lose in the postseason. I just think they may have too much. Please prove me wrong. Please, because I would love to go to States and check you out in Lynchburg and bring home another title of the Bay Rivers for the second consecutive year. That would be great. So
absolutely.
For this one, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, Briarwood is just a tough matchup, and Grafton's going to have to bring their A game to finish this one out.
You sound like you don't want to pick Briarwood.
I don't at all. I like Grafton a lot. I've liked their team all year. I thought they were solid, but I've got to go with what the facts.
I think you're going with your heart.
But that's pretty much all we've got for this week's game. Unless you got something to add on that.
No, we're good. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Yep. As always, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/757preps. You can check us on Facebook, facebook.com/757preps. We usually have some photos and stuff up there for you. And you can always follow on Twitter. If you can't make the game, we'll be updating the scores as we receive it. And we should be at both games, so you should be getting the scores pretty much live. And that's pretty much it. Be sure to check out the site. Plenty of stories, highlights. We're starting to sway into basketball, but like I said before, I love football season, so hopefully we'll get another week. Anything else?
Hey, good luck this week, Grafton.
Definitely. Be sure to come out and support. As Jason said earlier, Briarwoods will bring a big crowd, so make sure everybody's out there to support Grafton this week. We can't let them have their home field here in Yorktown.
Definitely not.
All right, so for Jason Kidd, I'm Perez Thomas. You all have a good weekend. Can't wait for the state semis this weekend. Have a good one.